Colorado's recruiting strategy with Coach Prime has changed, but the way in which he is building his roster is actually a lot more orthodox and I think indicative, once again, of the era that we live in college football. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on Step Mill. This is your first time watching the #1 college football show. Welcome. We talk college football year-round. If you like what you're listening to, hit that subscribe button. Join the more than 131,000 folks that subscribe to the channel. And answer this question in the comments below. Do you think that Deion Sanders has evolved his roster management strategy to fit his recruiting strategy? Or do you think this is just a one-off? And I'm going to give you some numbers to go off of so you can make a better decision here. But my take here is he's doing what you do once you start winning football games. You start fortifying your position. So 2025, the Colorado recruiting class consisted of 45% high school product, right? It's about right in line with what you want him to do at Jackson State. Go 40, 40, 20, right? You want it 40% high school. 40% grad transfer, 40% transfer, and 20% high school, and then you wanted to keep bumping that number up as you got better. So we're talking about a high school that 14 high school prospects out of 17 transfers out of 31 new faces total. It's not bad, right? And then you look at what he brought in 2023 is 73 new players, and 21% of those were high school. So already you're going to go get more high school players because I think you won more football games, and you can go recruit a higher caliber of high school player and perhaps keep that guy in the fold for a couple of years. A great example of this is Cam Michael, who I expect to see a bunch of in 2025, who didn't play in 2024, mostly due to injury, but also it's one of the best athletes in the 2024 class. You're also looking at not just turning it over at a higher clip for transfers, but getting 43 transfers as opposed to just 72. 43 transfers in 2023, 17 transfers in 2024 tells you a lot about what the recruiting roster management has done. We don't want to spend a lot on NIL. We also would like to get a higher caliber of player with a longer high end. So what you can do when you win football games, when trying to turn it over and win right away, it's not something you really get to do. It's also not changing the way that he chooses to close deals. Deion Sanders famously does not make home visits, does not make school visits. You come to Boulder, Colorado to see him. And some folks wrongly see this as a power play. They see this as, I'm not good enough, or you're not good enough for me to come see you. I think that is wrong-headed. I think anytime that a player and his family can afford to make a trip, or someone's going to pay for them to make a trip, you make the trip. You make the trip. That's what you do. Do I want Deion Sanders to come to my high school? Maybe. My high school is probably going to mob him. Like, it becomes a security thing. Do I want him to come to my house? Not if everybody else knows that he's coming to my house. No, I don't. And I certainly don't want him coming in 3 a.m. to do no home visit. That's just not fun for nobody, right? Including him. You're also looking at a man that had a $200,000 private plane allowance to do what he wanted, and he left it untouched. People forget that part. He left $200,000 in plane jet untouched. Doesn't mean the rest of his staff does not go out hunting. Those guys make all sorts of visits. Those guys go to rooms all over college football, high school football. Those guys are on the phone constantly because that's what their job is. Their job is to go hunt, right? Hunt, gather, and then, hey, Prime, I want to bring this dude in so we can close it. Cool, bet it. Let's make it happen, right? I think you're also looking at what the travel costs and recruiting costs are, and you're keeping those down. So Colorado spent $943,000 plus in 2024 on what looked like just recruiting, right? That's not a small amount. If a lot of that money is being spent in the city of Boulder, guess what else is happening, right? You're boosting the Boulder economy around them. One of the things that Prime has been lauded for. One of the ways in which you can see this is also winning football games brings more people to your university, brings exposure to your university, makes your university more profitable. That's it. That's the thing. That's why you're going to continue to let him do this the way he wants to do it, because the results are, bottom line, you are richer at a time when other people are poorer. One of the shrewdest decisions that is looking like college football in the modern era is Rick George going to Jackson State to go get Deion Sanders, bring him to Colorado. Give Colorado an identity, help them go win, secure their future as a Power 14 when the Pac-12 was looking ready to dissolve and did. And now, not only that, you're up applications across the board. And you're up applications from kids whose parents can afford to pay full price. And that's what you also want in higher education, college. One of the things that we seem to not agree on is the purpose of college and the price of it. I, for one, have a master's degree, professional writing, University of Oklahoma, bachelor's degree from University of Tulsa, and I was in the PhD program at Oklahoma State. And I would tell you with a straight face, if you don't have to go to college, don't go to college. It's a stupid investment. It's a really, really awful investment. The price is too high. The return is too low. And the student loan debt is something like indentured servitude. And the United States government is not doing a whole hell of a lot to help you with that. This coming from a generation that claimed that an education was worth everything. You go into Hawk to get a good education. Turns out they lied to us about that. I'm not going to lie to you about that. If you ain't got to go, don't go. That said, if you're going to go and your parents can afford for you to pay, and there are those parents that can afford to pay, cool, bet. Spend $40,000, $50,000 a year on going to school, right? Even if you're spending $10,000 a year on going to school, that might be $10,000 that you can put in your pocket or perhaps go travel with, what have you. What I'm saying here is Colorado's bottom line is they got to be making money. That's what it is. They're not about just turning out good people, as they like to say, good standing citizens. No, we don't care nothing about none of that. You got the money to play, you can go here forever. We don't care. You know, as long as the check clears, and that's the thing. Ain't nothing like walking into the bursar office and not having no check clear. That's when I tell y'all to put y'all higher education dreams down. When check don't clear, guess who's on your head? Guess who's calling you, talking about, hey, we don't know if you're going to be able to be here. Then you are able to really understand the cost of going to college. In the meantime, getting your program on television, great marketing advantage. Colorado benefits from Deion Sanders in more ways than you think. That man got a talk show on a FAST channel. For those that are uninitiated, FAST is free ad-supported television, Tubi, right? Getting him in front of those sorts of people as often as possible might lead them to believe that they need to be going to Colorado, where you can do this. I fail to see why so many people aren't just getting on the good foot with Prime and understanding what he's doing is not just good for Colorado, but good for the sport, right? We want characters. We want stars. And the stars in our sport, for better or worse, are the coaches themselves. How he is choosing to put together that roster, though, is also becoming indicative of what past stars have done. Nick Saban, for instance, Dabo Swinney, for instance. You recruit high-caliber players, both in character and in star rating, sometimes one before the other, and then you train them to become very good redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomore players. Perhaps they're gone after that, perhaps not. But for the most part, you're able to make this development work for you and for them. And that's game theory. Do what's best for yourself and the group, and everybody wins. I think Prime is really, really good at that.